What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Terra. Terra I wouldn't touch. Simply put, I would not touch. Terra, and both Terra and Terra Classic, there's probably going to be some level of gains with Terra and possibly Terra Classic, to be fair. But I'll run over the reasons I wouldn't touch it. But also, actually, I want to cover a little bit into this FTX Terra situation, because they're both parties blame each other for the respective crash, which sort of started the domino effect that we've been experiencing for throughout 2022. Who is at fault? Let's find out. But before I get into that, if you are new to this channel, these are the first 26 coins I spoke about on this channel. Had you put in just $100 into each of these coins when I release videos about them, and you were still holding those cryptos, you never sold them, rode them into a recession, rode them into a bear cycle, if you sold those coins today, you could still bank around $16K in profit. From a $2,600 investment, that is not bad at all. But if you'd sold these coins when the markets were red hot, so in 2021, when the markets were absolutely rocketing up, $100 into each could have netted you a profit of 123 grand. It's a big difference between doing the right and the wrong thing. Now, I sold all these off in 2021. They're not what I hold. But if you want to see the coins that I own right now, you can do. Just go to copymycrypto.com. On the site, I share every coin I own. Every one I buy, every one I sell. We release videos on a daily basis talking about the markets, where we have been absolutely pinpoint accurate for months and months and months now. We have tutorials set up on the site as well. These tutorials are for beginners. If you're brand new to crypto, and a lot of our members are, these tutorials will guide you the way through. But guys, we have a history of success on both the site and the channel. We have picked enormous winners on both. Phantom leads the way in that regard. I did created a Udemy course in 2020 about Phantom, and I said it was 100x or more. Ended up doing 677 times gain. So if you'd put $2,000, you could have netted 1.3 million. Now, I will find another Phantom, another coin that can do those gains, and when I do, I'm not going to create a course like last time. I'm simply going to go onto my site. I'm going to tell the members about the coin. I'm going to tell them the gains I think it can have and the percentage of my money I'm putting in. If that interests you, if you're looking to take the work out of all your crypto investing, go read the site. And remember, anything you read, you can verify yourself on the YouTube channel's history. If you like it, maybe I'll see you there. So Terra, whether it's Terra or whether it's Terra Classic, it really doesn't matter to me. They're both doomed for me, and that's not strictly true, because of course they can go up in price. The trading volume alone on Terra Classic is enormous. It's down 40% and it's still at 100 million for the day. And look, there's an approach to this by the team at Terra and Terraform Labs and all that. But if you're unfamiliar, Terra obviously had that massive, enormous, multi-billion-dollar market collapse. The UST, the stable coin, that algorithmic stable coin, crashed. It crashed hard. It crashed brutally. Had a huge market cap. Billions and billions of dollars were in it. And Terra itself crashed as well. What we ended up seeing was the original was being renamed Terra Classic and UST Classic Terra Classic USD, and a relaunch of a new chain and an enormous airdrop to everyone that was damaged. And I mean, the breakdown of the airdrop is immensely sort of long-winded, and they've very carefully sort of presented this as attack. We have been attacked. which could have happened. We're genuinely in this sort of weird scenario where we've had Do Kwon, who's created a stablecoin that's collapsed before. So he knew there was a risk here. And we have FTX, who appear to have acted fraudulently over the last 2 years, unrelentingly. So both parties have been blaming each other. And there's quite an interesting article from Forecast.news, which is talking about why it's harder to arrest Do Kwon than Sam Bankman-Fried. And it runs down about what's happening right now, which obviously SBF was arrested in the Bahamas, if I'm right. Yeah. Do Kwon is apparently living in Serbia. There is an Interpol red notice for his arrest. Prosecutors in South Korea want to charge him with fraud. And yet, he's not been arrested. It's a very, very interesting one. So Do Kwon has said that the Terra Luna stablecoin, which he called his life's work, may have failed, and that was his responsibility, but it was not as a result of fraud. He says that both him and the team have claimed there's been an attack. So the question is who actually is responsible. So before the depegging, the Terra was top 10. UST, like the stablecoin, ended up being about top 10 as well. It was huge. So Do Kwon's project grew. He's a 31-year-old guy, and it gained a mass following, along with FTX obviously gaining a mass following. The collapse of Terra Luna, which happened in a matter of days from May 7th, 2022, saw the value of the Luna token plunge from $120 to zero, causing losses to more than 250,000 investors in South Korea alone. And then obviously since then we've seen the collapse of FTX. Now the question is who is responsible? And Fatman Terra, who is who's on Twitter, he was a user of the Terra protocols, and he's actually been really he's tweeted out a lot explaining what's been happening. So the way this works, so the failed there's so many details here. So the 3 Arrows Capital hedge fund that collapsed, the co-founder announced the voluntary dismissal of the class action lawsuit that was against Terraform and everyone associated. And he, the co-founder of 3 Arrows Capital, Su, has claimed that FTX and Alameda Research manipulated the crypto market. He claimed that FTX was part of a conspiracy that resulted in the UST collapse. 3 Arrows was hit extremely badly by this because they had severe exposure to Terraform Labs. So Su and Do Kwon have both blamed Genesis and Alameda Research for the crash. And the counter argument to this, so Fatman Terra's Twitter, he's put out a lot of information about what happened with Terra. He's been doing a lot of research and massively rated. So he alleged that Terraform Labs claims that UST recorded a hack attack are false. He's been an integral part of the puzzle since the collapse and has been reporting on the firm's collapse for over a year. And what he pointed out was Terraform Labs dumped over 450 million UST on the open market a few days before the implosion. He also cited data from an anonymous researcher who discovered Hodlnaut's insolvency. The data revealed that Terraform Labs started dumping millions of UST a few days before the depeg. And Fatman points out that dumping such an amount of UST in that short period reduced the stable coin's liquidity and weakened its peg. The UST dump and the $2.7 billion removed by TFL through DGenBox contributed to the implosion. He implied that Do Kwon and Terraform Labs withdrew real dollars from the ecosystem, making UST redemption impossible. More so, the independent audit released by TFL and Luna Foundation Guard to show its efforts in redeeming the UST peg were incomplete. So the audit that they released to show that they were doing the right thing was incomplete. Why was it incomplete? Probably because some of the stuff in there they didn't want to share. Apparently, the audit did not account for 47,000 Bitcoin sent to Jump Crypto by the Luna Foundation Guard. So it's all a mess. Now, look, people are building. Terra. People are building on Terra. There's no doubt about it. There's three new projects. One was Dexter Money, and then Cavern Protocol, and Feather. People are starting to build. I can see this coming back. I legitimately can see it coming back. In spite of the fact that their trading volume is a lot lower than Terra Classic, either of these can easily have success. Of course they can. If Do Kwon is not involved, you've got a greater likelihood of people of many people coming back to them. But fundamentally, look, it boils down to one thing, which is trust, right? Like, how can you trust a protocol that ended up having billions of dollars wiped? Like, whether or not it was Sam Bankman-Fried, or whether because Sam Bankman-Fried, we know FTX unequivocally did a lot of dodgy crap, manipulated markets, they moved money around, they committed mass fraud. There's very little doubt about that. It still has to be proven in a court of law, but there's very little doubt. So they could have well been involved with Terra. But make no mistake about it, Terra's had damage done by themselves. Terraform Labs move money around unethically, huge amounts of money. Now, that could have just been Do Kwon, or that was the team behind the foundation, or the team behind Terraform Labs. Either way, it's a lot of faith to put in, because that's all you can do. If you're investing in Terra long term, or Terra Classic long term, and I know Terra Classic are planning on doing a massive burn and stuff, I know there's stuff coming around the corner, but if you're planning on investing with them, then you are doing it off of a faith basis that they're not going to act immorally or insidiously or fraudulently, even though history has shown it. And you're also working on the faith premise that this can actually get back to some level of its previous highs. Now, I'm not saying this. I don't think this can ever be. I don't think this will ever be $120 again, because I think too many people were damaged and burned. But it's too much faith. There's no strength. There's strength to the Terra project, of course there is, because that's why people flock to it. But is it? For me, going into Terra or going into Terra Classic is throwing away fundamentals of why you invest, which is a combination of making gains and managing risk. And I don't think you can possibly manage risk in a scenario where the team behind the project, have had a crypto crash before they even created this. their main crypto crash, their algorithmic stablecoin crash, and fraudulent money moving. There's too much faith. There's not enough strategy. There's not enough sense behind an investment into these two, from my perspective. They're good for trading. And if you're just in and out trading, like Luna Classic is a phenomenal trading pair because there's moves quite a lot. You know, you're looking at $100 million in volume a day. So it's a good trading pair. But fundamentally, is it a long-term investment? Probably not. I wouldn't touch either of them with a barge pole. Give me a barge pole and I won't touch them with it. It just doesn't, for me, it's no-go. I get that there are loyalists to Terra, and I get that from a tech basis, you know, they looked pretty damn good before all of this. But I just wouldn't go near it, personally. But what do you guys think? Look, you know, after we've seen the fallout of FTX, after we've seen the fallout of Celsius and Voyager and everything else, BlockFi, does your perspective on Terra's collapse change? Does the fact that Do Kwon seems to be in hiding in Serbia change your perspective at all? Does any of it? Or would you just go, nah, screw that, I'm never going anywhere? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're a returning viewer, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel. That improves your karma. Nice thing to do. Karma points are real, guys. What goes around comes around. And these videos make you money or save you money because, you know, you're getting into Terra. Probably don't want. Not financial advice. And before I get into some recent news about Binance, if you guys want to see the coins I hold, go to copymycrypto.com. On the site, I share my portfolio. Members get real-time updates anytime I buy or sell a coin. Videos are released on a daily basis talking about the markets. We have had pinpoint accuracy on those videos for months and months and months now. Then on top of that, guys, look, we have a history of success on both the site and the channel. We have picked big winners, many hundred X's. Nothing has done the gains like Phantom, though. Phantom was a course I released where I said it was going to be one of the best investments, well, the best investment of 2020. I said it would 100x or more. It is still up over 100x from when I found it. And it hit 677x when at its peak. So $2,000 into that could have netted you 1.3 million. So huge returns. Now, when I find the next Phantom, I'm not going to create a course like last time. I'm just going to go onto my site and break the coin down in the same way I do with all my other holdings. This is the coin. These are the gains I think it can have. This is why, and this is the percentage. And this is the percentage of money that I'm going to put into the coin. And if people want to copy along, they can. If that interests you, if you want to minimize the amount of research you're doing and the deep dives you're doing on a daily basis, go read the site now. Remember, you can verify everything you read on this YouTube channel's history. And maybe I'll see you there. And Binance. Dum. So from February 8th, they're going to temporarily suspend all USD bank transfers. This will only affect a small proportion of their users. And they're working hard to restart the service as soon as possible. All other methods of buying and selling crypto remain unaffected. Part of this appears to be down to the recent news that their sort of partner bank, which is Signature Bank, raised transaction minimums to $100,000. What a way to screw over your customers. So Binance have said they're actively seeking a new partner because obviously they're aware that's unreasonable. And it only affects about 0.01% of their average monthly users, but it is something that needs resolving. But even, again, guys, just as a reminder, look, right now, the news is the news. Like you have to accept what you're being told within reason. You know, you can approach it with scrutiny, and you should always. But that's the facts of the matter as far as we're aware. But you should never hold all your crypto on exchanges. I go through it. Like we always, it should be a stark and constant reminder. Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager, FTX. Nothing in this world Lehman Brothers. Nothing in this world is too big to fail. Binance, just because it's enormous, doesn't mean it's too big to fail. It could. I don't work at Binance. I don't know their ins and outs. And to be fair, anyone working at Binance probably doesn't know their ins and outs. Bar that upper echelon. So you've got to bear in mind, like, there's a risk. There's a huge risk to leaving your funds on exchanges. Exchanges are not banks. You can't just withdraw whenever you want. There's obviously issues constantly. Just be safe, be in control of your keys, whether it's a MetaMask, whether it's a friggin' Ledger or a Trezor. There's other products out there as well. Just be in control of your own stuff, guys. Don't take risks with your long-term investments. And that's it from me. Hope you're all keeping very, very well. See you soon. Take it easy.